Chag Sameach. I'm Wayne Ingalls, and this is the Chag HaMatzot and Feast of Unleavened Bread Day 1 scripture readings from Bet Tefillah Messianic Fellowship. Our readings are from Shemot or Exodus 12:21 to 51, from Bamidbar or Numbers 28:16 to 25. Our Haftorah reading is from Yehoshua or Joshua chapter 5 verse 2 to 6 verse 1. And our Ketuvim Netzarim, or Apostolic Scriptures, or Nazarene writings, New Covenant readings are from Yochanan or John chapter 19, verse 31 to 20, verse 1. Our readings from the Torah are the readings from Exodus and Numbers, or Shemot and Bamidbar. A reading from the ISR scriptures, for the most part. I'll begin with a plea for forbearance. We know that there are several competing theories about the pronunciation of the divine name and or whether or not it should even be pronounced at all. During this reading, we will be pronouncing the divine name as Yahweh. We request your understanding and forbearance if you disagree with that pronunciation, but ask you not to leave because of a difference in vocalization. Before our Torah portion, we'll begin with a blessing. Open my eyes, so I will see wonders from your Torah. I'm a ger on the earth, hide not your mitzvot from me. And the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'karbanu makol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Blessed are you, Adonai, or Elohim, King of the universe, who has chosen us from all peoples and has given us his Torah. Baruch atah Adonai notein ha'Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, giver of the Torah. First verse of our reading is from Shemot or Exodus 12:21. You can join with me either from the Hebrew text on top or from the transliterated text in the middle. Vayikra Moshe l'chol ziknei Yisrael vayomer alehem mishku uchu lachem tzon lemishpotechem v'shachtu hapasach. And Moshe called for all the elders of Israel and said to them, go out and take lambs for yourselves according to your clans and slaughter the Passover lamb. Continuing now with the reading, and I'll continue in with verse 22. And you shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two doorposts with the blood that is in the basin, and you, none of you, shall go out of the door of his house until morning. And Yahweh shall pass on to smite the Mitzrites, and shall see the blood on the lintel and on the two doorposts, and Yahweh shall pass over the door, and not allow the destroyer to come into your houses to smite you. And you shall guard this word as a law for you and your sons forever. And it shall be, when you come to the land which Yahweh gives to you, as he promised, that you shall guard this service. And it shall be, when your children say to you, what does the service mean to you? Then you shall say, it is the Passover slaughtering of Yahweh, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Mitzrayim, when he smote the Mitzrites and delivered our households. And the people bowed their heads and did obeisance. And the children of Israel went away and did so, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe and Aharon. So they did. And it came to be at midnight that Yahweh smote all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, from the firstborn of Pharaoh, who sat on his throne, to the firstborn of the captive who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of livestock. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Mitzrites. And there was a great cry in Mitzrayim, for there was not a house where there was not a dead one. Then he called for Moshe and Aharon by night and said, arise, go out from the midst of my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve Yahweh as you have said. Take both your flocks and your herds, as you have said, and go. Then you shall bless me too. And the Mitzrites urged the people to hasten to send them away out of the land, for they said, we are all dying. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, having their kneading bowls bound up in their garments on their shoulders. And the children of Israel had done according to the word of Moshe, and they had asked from the Mitzrites objects of silver and objects of gold and garments. And Yahweh gave the people favor in the eyes of the Mitzrites, so that they gave them what they asked, and they plundered the Mitzrites. And the children of Israel set out from Ramesses to Sukkot, about 600,000 men on foot, besides the little ones. And a mixed multitude went up with them too, also flocks and herds, and very much livestock. And they baked unleavened cakes out of the dough, which they had brought out of Mitzrayim, for it was not leavened, since they were driven out of Mitzrayim, and had not been able to delay, nor had they prepared food for themselves. And the sojourn of the children of Israel, who lived in Mitzrayim, was 430 years. And it came to be at the end of the 430 years, on that same day, it came to be that all of the divisions of Yahweh went out from the land of Mitzrayim. It is a night to be observed unto Yahweh for bringing them out of the land of Mitzrayim. This night is unto Yahweh to be observed by all the children of Israel throughout their generations. And Yahweh said to Moshe and Aharon, this is the law of the Passover. No son of a stranger is to eat of it. But any servant a man has bought for silver, when you have circumcised him, then let him eat of it. A sojourner and a hired servant does not eat of it. It is eaten in one house. You are not to go take any of the flesh outside the house, nor are you to break any bone of it. And the congregation of Israel are to perform it. And when a stranger sojourns with you and shall perform the Passover to Yahweh, let all his males be circumcised. Let him come near and perform it, and he shall be as a native of the land, but let no uncircumcised eat of it. There is one Torah for the native born and for the stranger who sojourns among you. And all the children of Israel did as Yahweh commanded Moshe and Aharon, so they did. And it came to be on that same day that Yahweh brought the children of Israel out of the land of Mitzrayim according to their divisions. Our second reading is from Bamidbar, or Numbers, chapter 28, verses 16 through 25. And in the first month, on the 14th day, is the Passover of Yahweh. On the 15th day of this month is a festival. For 7 days unleavened bread is eaten. On the first day is a set-apart gathering. You do no servile work. And you shall bring near an offering made by fire as a burnt offering to Yahweh, 2 young bulls and 1 ram, and 7 lambs a year old, perfect ones. They are for you. And their grain offering, fine flour mixed with oil. Prepare 3/10 of an ephah for a bull, and 2/10 for a ram. Prepare 1/10 of an ephah for each of the 7 lambs, and 1 goat as a sin offering to make atonement for you. Prepare these beside the burnt offering of the morning, which is for a continual burnt offering. According to these you are to prepare the food of the offering made by fire daily for 7 days, as a sweet fragrance to Yahweh. It is prepared besides the continual burnt offering and its drink offering. And on the 7th day you have a set-apart gathering. You do no servile work. And thus ends the Torah reading. If you join me for the blessing after reading the Torah portion. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chei olam nata betocheinu. Blessed are you, Adonai or Elohim, King of the universe, who has given us the Torah of truth and has planted everlasting life in our midst. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Blessed are you, Adonai, giver of the Torah. Our half-Torah reading is from Yehoshua, or Joshua, chapter 5, verse 2 to chapter 6, verse 1. If you join me for a blessing before the half-Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bakar b'nevi'im tovim v'rata devrhem hagamarim ba'amet. Blessed are you, Adonai our Elohim, King of the universe, who has chosen good prophets and is pleased with the words they spoke in truth. Baruch atah Adonai habakir b'Torah of Moshe, Abdo v'Israel amo v'nevi'eh ha'amet v'tzedek. Blessed are you, Adonai, who chose Torah, and Moshe is serving Israel his people, and prophets of the truth and righteousness. Beginning at Yehoshua or Joshua chapter 5, verse 2. At that time Yahweh said to Yehoshua, make knives of flint for yourself, and circumcise the sons of Israel again the second time. So Yehoshua made knives of flint for himself, and circumcised the sons of Israel at the hill of foreskins. And this is why Yehoshua circumcised them, all the people who came out of Mitzrayim, who were males, all the men of battle, had died in the wilderness on the way after they had come out of Mitzrayim. For all the people who came out had been circumcised, but all the people who were born in the wilderness on the way as they came out of Mitzrayim had not been circumcised. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness, till all the nation, the men of battle who came out of Mitzrayim, were consumed, because they did not obey the voice of Yahweh, to whom Yahweh swore not to show them the land which Yahweh had sworn to their fathers that he would give us, a land flowing with milk and honey. And Yehoshua circumcised their sons, whom he raised up in their place, for they were uncircumcised, because they had not been circumcised on the way. And it came to be, when they had completed circumcising all the nation, they stayed in their places in the camp till they were healed. And Yahweh said to Yehoshua, today I have rolled away the reproach of Mitzrayim from you. So the name of the place is called Gilgal to this day. And the children of Israel camped in Gilgal and performed the Passover on the 14th day of the month at evening on the desert plains of Jericho. And they ate of the stored grain of the land on the morrow after the Passover, unleavened bread and roasted grain on the same day. And the manna ceased on the day after they had eaten the stored grain of the land, and the children of Israel no longer had manna, but they ate the food of the land of Canaan that year. And it came to be, when Yehoshua was by Jericho, that he lifted his eyes and looked and saw a man standing opposite him with a sword drawn in his hand. And Yehoshua went to him and said to him, are you for us or for our adversaries? And he said, no, for I have now come as captain of the host of Yahweh. And Yehoshua fell on his face to the earth and did obeisance, and said to him, what is my master saying to his servant? The captain of the host of Yahweh said to Yehoshua, take your sandal off your foot, for the place where you stand is set apart. And Yehoshua did so. And Jericho was shut up tight, because of the presence of the sons of Israel, none going out and none coming in. Continuing now with our Ketuvim Netzarim, or Nazarene writings portion from the Gospel of Yochanan, or John, chapter 19, verse 31 through chapter 20, verse 1. The blessing before the Ketuvim Netzarim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu et derech haYeshua b'Mashiach Yeshua ve'et sifrei Ketuvim Netzarim l'kal ha'amin. Blessed are you, Adonai, our Elohim, King of the universe, who has given us the way of salvation in Messiah Yeshua, and the books of the Nazarene writings to all the peoples. Baruch atah Adonai noten Yeshua b'Yeshua HaMashiach. Blessed are you, Adonai, giver of salvation in Yeshua, the Messiah. This is from the Hebraic Roots Version, 2009 Revised Edition. Beginning at chapter 19, verse 31. And the Judeans, because it was a day of preparation, were saying, these bodies should not remain overnight on their gallows, because the Sabbath is drawing on. For the day of that Sabbath was a high day. And they entreated Pilate that they might break the legs of those crucified and take them down. And the soldiers came and broke the legs of the first and that of the other who was crucified with him. But when they came to Yeshua, they saw that he was dead already and did not break his legs. But one of the soldiers struck him in his side with a spear, and immediately blood and water poured forth. And the one who was and the one who saw has testified, and his testimony is true. And he knows that he spoke the truth, that you also might believe. For these things happened, that the scripture might be fulfilled, which said, a bone of him will not be broken. And again, another scripture that said, they will look at him whom they pierced. After these things, Yosef, who was from Ramatayim, requested from Pilate, because he was a Talmid of Yeshua and had concealed himself for fear of the Judeans, that he might take away the body of Yeshua. And Pilate gave permission, and he came and took the body of Yeshua. And Nachdimon also came, who previously had come to Yeshua during the night. And he brought with him a mixture of spices and myrrh and of aloe, about 100 pounds. And they took the body of Yeshua and wound it in linen cloths and with ointments, as is the custom for the Judeans when they bury. And they took the body of Yeshua and wound it in linen cloths and with ointments, as was the custom of the Judeans when they bury. Sorry, I double read verse 40, excuse me. Now there was in that place in which Yeshua was crucified a garden, and in the same garden a new grave, in which a man had not yet been laid. And they put Yeshua there because the Sabbath was dawning, and because the sepulchre was nearby. Chapter 20, verse 1, and in the night that was dawning at the first of the week, while dark, in the very early dawn, Miriam from Magdala came to the sepulchre, and she saw the stone, that it was taken from the grave. An alternate reading or translation from the Good News of Messiah edition, the 5th edition, chapter 20, verse 1. Now on the first of the Sabbaths, Miriam ha-Magdalite is herself coming early, darkness still being to the tomb, when she sees the stone having been getting removed from the tomb. And thus ends our scripture readings for day 1 of Chag HaMatzot. We thank you for attending this set apart or Mikar Kodesh gathering to read and hear the scripture. May your Passover Feast of Unleavened Bread celebration be blessed to the very brim